I wanted to read it. It looks like count 4 just indicates did operate a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol. I wanted to see whether the indictment was under the influence of alcohol or drugs or both, but it appears to be just under the influence of alcohol. Let me look at the other counts. All right, prosecution, why is this alleged request for ADD relevant?
Your Honor, other than the fact that we're trying to prove that the defendant drove under the influence of alcohol, we're also pursuing a murder count. For murder, you must have that the defendant consciously disregarded an unjustifiable risk. The fact that the defendant asked for some ADD pills shows that she was aware of a risk of the drive home. Therefore, this is probative, Your Honor.
Your Honor, as we understand it, the charge of murder requires the prosecution to prove that the defendant consciously had a conscious disregard for human life. Now, that is not this, whether or not the defendant ordered ADD pills does not go to that element whatsoever.
I'm looking at count 1. On or about September 25, 2010, Danny Dawson did extremely recklessly kill Vanessa Sullivan by injuring her in a motor vehicle crash. Count 2, did recklessly kill by injuring her in a motor vehicle crash. Count 3, did negligently kill by injuring in a motor vehicle crash. I think the request for the ADD would be relevant with regards to the extremely recklessly allegation of count 1, so your objection's overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lawrence, were you done with your answer?
Yes, for the ADT pills, I didn't have them. I don't know what they are. I'm not Walmart or something, and so I told him I don't have them. But then he followed she followed me to the bar.
What happened when she followed you to the bar?
Well, the bands at night, they all ordered a shot for everybody that was there, left over. And so they ordered grain alcohol shots, which are clear. She asked me for a water shot, which is clear as well. So when I brought these shots over, I think I might have messed it up based on the facial expressions when I took
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation and speculation. May I be heard?
Yes.
Now, this witness is testifying that he knew that Ms. Dawson consumed a grain alcohol shot and that he knew he might have made a mistake based on the facial expression of Ms. Dawson. Now, we have a good faith belief that this witness only spent approximately 6 hours with Ms. Dawson. Furthermore, opposing counsel has failed to lay that foundation, so we don't know how this witness could possibly know what facial expressions indicate what particular reactions to alcohol, and whether or not Ms. Dawson's expressions accurately represent what this witness believes them to represent.
May I be heard? Your Honor, it's already been established, foundation has already been laid that this witness was the server the entire night for the defendant that night. Therefore, he is able to testify of what he served and also the reaction. He's a recipient witness, therefore he is allowed to testify on what he saw, Your Honor.
Anything further?
Your Honor, we don't believe this is within this witness's rational perception. This witness does not know Ms. Dawson.
Wait, what's not within the rational perception? His ability to look at her face?
No, Your Honor, the fact that Ms. Dawson actually consumed alcohol based on the expression on her face. We believe this witness is drawing a conclusion that based on the reaction, the expression on Ms. Dawson's face, that she actually consumed that grain alcohol shot and that this witness made a mistake. We believe that's speculation.
Your Honor, this witness is not saying that she consumed it. He is saying of what he saw. He's able to testify on this because it's what he perceived.
But I thought his statement was that based on what he perceived, he concluded that she had consumed the alcohol. Isn't that
Yes.
what the reference to her facial expression
Yes,
concerned?
it's that he made a mistake, that he thought he made a mistake. And
Your objection is sustained.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lawrence, after the shot, when did you see the defendant next?
Objection, Your Honor, assumes facts not in evidence.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
What happened after this, Mr. Lawrence?
Well, after the band ordered the shots for everyone there, Miss Dawson, I tried to explain to her that I might have made a mistake with this shot, and that she might have taken the shot, maybe. And she argued with me and screaming, yelling, and saying how it would help her on the drive home. And so I told her, I begged her not to drive, but she was already stumbling and slurring, and she was drunk before that possible shot, and then she left.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
As to,
She was drunk before that possible shot.
It had already been established that this witness is a server, and he is able to testify on this because he has knowledge as to, he can perceive whether a person is drunk or not due to what he does.
Your Honor, may I respond?
yes.
One of the counts in today's case is drinking and being under the influence. Now, that's an ultimate issue in today's case. For this witness to testify to whether or not Ms. Dawson was actually drunk would be making the connection for the jury. It would be taking away the privilege of the fact finder to make the conclusions in today's case.
Your Honor, I believe this witness is not saying, is not giving a level or anything like that. He's just saying from what he perceived and what he saw that he thought that the defendant was drunk. And, you know, we already established that he's a server, so therefore he can say that.
Well, I think he can certainly testify to what he perceived and what he saw, but to conclude that she was drunk, I think would be inappropriate. So your objection is sustained.
Move to strike any testimony regarding that.
Yeah, only that, yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not any testimony.
So, Mr. Lawrence, as it was stated, how was the defendant acting?
Well, I've been a sailor for a long time, and so she was stumbling, slurring, smelled like liquor, and it just seemed like it was wandering too many for her. And so when she walked out, that's kind of worried, and I followed her outside, but they were too far into the parking lot, and they were just screaming. I couldn't do it. She was screaming about how she was going to make a race car driver look like he was in a slow lane.
There's no further questions at this time.
Thank you, Cross.